This class is about, the title is Inverted Ugly Triangles, okay? So I will try to give you an idea of what they are, but it's a vast topic. Triangles is a vast topic. So you need to sort of start to slice it up in different ways. Even sort of the inverted ugly triangles there's probably not enough time. But before we get into it, I want to give you guys an idea what they are, okay? Because people sometimes, they know things under one name and it could be a different name. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as the name goes. By the way, is it just me or is time flying a lot faster in Iceland than back home? So let's go into it. So basically, this is a regular triangle, okay? This, everybody that's been training jiu-jitsu for a little bit knows this. This is a regular triangle, okay? So this is a regular triangle. This is a reverse triangle. I just reverse my legs. Highly underrated, guys. I strongly encourage you to play around with this, okay? So this is regular. This is reverse, okay? So that's the names I use. Now, inverted, okay? There's two types of inverted triangles. One that Braulio Estima uses, okay? He's really good at it. I probably get, of inverted triangle submissions, I probably get 10% of Braulio's type, 90% of, you can call it whatever you want, but I call it mine, it's different. So Braulio's is this version, okay? Mine is I'm facing names. It's gonna be very important for us to make sure that you cannot go in between. If you do one in between, okay, if you do somewhere in between, it becomes ugly. It's no longer strangulation, okay? It's a form of control, yes, but you're not gonna get the strangulation, all right? So now you have two different types of inverted triangles. We're gonna focus on mine. We're gonna go over some entries, but I wanna also talk about ugly. So ugly is, so for example, the guy who's a turtle, I take his arm and he rolls. This is an ugly triangle. Why do I call it ugly? It's not clean strangulation. I call, if you get a clean strangulation, then it's inverted, it could be reverse, could be a regular triangle. But when you're getting not perfect strangulation, becomes partly mangle, partly strangulation, pain, and all that other stuff. But all the triangles that have one thing in common, which is extremely important. If you forget everything else from this class, I want you to remember that one thing. Can anybody tell me what that thing is? Yeah, that's a good one, but yeah, guys, you should grab your shit as much as you can, but it has one thing in control. You have simultaneous submissions. Think about that, right? You have, while you're choking the guy, or mangling him with ugly triangles, you have simultaneous submissions. You can attack the arm at the same time as you're still choking the guy. All triangles have that in common. The only difference is with the regular triangle, it's probably going to be the arm that's strapped. Right? With inverted triangles, it's usually going to be the arm that's outside. However, so as we're going through these inverted triangles and ugly triangles, as you squeeze it, I'm less concerned about your squeeze and strangulation, but also pay attention to, can I attack his arm? And the answer is always yes. The question is it the one that's strapped in the triangle, or is it the outside? So we're gonna pay particular attention to that, all right? Does everybody have any questions so far? So let's start going into the actual inverted triangles. I'm gonna try to go over 3 different entries. One is defensive, and 2 are gonna be offensive. So hopefully we can make it by 10 o'clock, by 11 o'clock. So, guys, one of them is when the guy's passing ball. And, a lot of times I train with bigger guys, and you know, they're slightly younger than me. So when you have a good guard pass and they just go, you know, side to side and just aggressively passing, at some point I'm like, man, I'm getting tired. So I'm not going to just drop my legs and just kind of let it pass. I will continue to fight because I need him to make a small mistake in attack. All right. So as Mike is going through my guard, right? As I'm letting him, I'm basically pivoting my body in a way that brings his head and arm forward. All right? So if I stay stationary, so if I let Mike do this, you're going to have a hard time. But as I start to feel like, okay, the guard pass is going to happen, I turn my body and I'm bringing my leg on top of his head if I can. Okay? This is very important. You need to be on your side on this one. So in my style of inverted triangle, I don't care what you guys call it, but I like descriptive names. All right, but when there's lack of thereof, I just kind of say, okay, this is the way I do it. Somebody else does. So you need to make sure that you break his posture, his head comes down. But most importantly, you need to be on your side. It's going to feel. If you feel like you're almost belly down, you're on your side. Because a lot of times what happens when people are, they're kind of like this, okay? I'm in between. I'm in neither. So I can still use it as a form of control, but as far as strangulation, you're gonna get pretty much zero. All right? So right now, my body's pointing in a different direction. So I need to be square. This is the Braulio style. I'm not doing that one. So my body, my torso is square up to the ceiling, and I'm trying to bring his head down. In my style, I'm on my side, and you want to feel like you belly down. You want to feel belly down. When you're like this, you're not getting the best strangulation. You want to have your knee pointing at the floor. Now, once you get here, his defense is north south. Okay? It's not going to happen if you pop up. And the squeeze, guys, is the same in all of them. Is bring your inner thighs together. Anybody has ever seen the infomercial, Suzanne Summers, Three's Company? Does that ring a bell for anybody? Thigh Master? No? Am I the only one? I didn't watch. There was a commercial between some of the other programs that I watched. Think Thigh Master when you squeeze it. All right, so let's look at it. So as he's coming through, I'm pivoting so I want him, so he's using your legs as he's shoving them out of the way. So as he's turning and slightly removing them, his torso and head comes forward. I'm going to grab my shin and notice that my knees pointing at the floor. I'm going to lock up. And now I'm going to prop up because right now I'm focused on strangulation. We're going to go with some simultaneous. I don't have simultaneous submission on this arm, on his right arm. I do have simultaneous submission on his left arm. We're going to go over that next time. And guys, just turn and squeeze. Okay? Is everybody clear on what we're doing, or anybody need another explanation? Yes.
Are you pushing his head down, or is he falling?
He's typically falling. I will push his head down, not with my arms, but with the top leg.
How do you get it into your groin area, the lower waist? Are you pushing it out there?
Not so much with my hands, but with my legs. So as Mike is coming through, so I'm going to bring my, and I just, and now I just, okay?
You're using your top leg to push
Yeah.
down on his.
Yeah, so as he's coming through, don't forget, guys, anytime somebody's passing your guard, they're using your body, your own torso for support. It doesn't matter, even this. I'm using Mike's torso for support, right? I may not put a lot of weight on it, but there is some. So if he moves, yeah, that support is gone. So it's the same basic idea that as he's sort of shoving your legs through, he's posting on them to some extent. Maybe not super heavily. And then when you remove your legs, his arms, his head, and his torso all come down. That's what we nailed it. All right? Let's go try it, and we'll come up with some more questions. Let's go. A lot of people have a question on how how do you get him to fall forward? So I had a very ambitious plan, but I don't know if we're gonna make it through for the hour to do 3 different setups. What I'll do, guys, after this, there's an open mat. My back is kind of bad right at this particular point in time, but I will be here if you need any additional questions on this. We can troubleshoot during the open mat. So there's a couple of things. That seems to be question number 1: is how do you get him to kind of effectively dive forward? He's not going to do it voluntarily, all right? And the second one, guys, it doesn't matter what choke or constriction. We call it chokes, it's constriction. I don't care what you call it. When you tell me you're choking somebody, I know what you mean. You're basically depriving somebody of enough blood flow to the brain. So there's not enough oxygen going to the brain. You're not depriving them of air. But guys, any choke, whether it's guillotines, rear naked chokes, triangles, arm triangles, it doesn't matter. You have to have either steady squeeze or increasing pressure. You cannot go up and down with pressure. When you go up and down, what happens is when you start to deprive your opponent of oxygen in the blood flow to the brain. When you release, the blood rushes back into the brain. And now he's sort of alive again. Then you tighten up again. But he already knows that he can survive this. So you start to lose confidence and you're like, oh, that's when the simultaneous submission is going to come in. Especially with triangles, because if you start to lose confidence, you have a simultaneous submission. Okay? So keep that in mind, that arm that you're looking at is going to be there. You may have to do a little bit of prying, but you can attack the feet as well. So we're going to go over that. We have enough time, I think, for that. So let's talk about how do you get their weight going forward. So if Mike, even if he, just kind of, this is a pretty popular place to put your. So I'm going to be fighting him as he's. So I'm already facing him. Look, my feet don't even touch the ground. All right? So it's not that I just kind of like, no, it's too late. So as he's coming forward, I'm already turning to him, and I just remove. So I just bring. You may have to jump your hips. Once I'm here, guys, this is done. I have his legs, right? And I have the closer arm. With the gi, they're probably going to grab. Sometimes they will try to unravel this is a critical mistake on that. Mike is one of my most flexible black belts. I can barely lock it up. You can do it with one hand, is sort of Americana. So those are the simultaneous submissions. We're going to get back to that, but I want you guys to first work on getting to the side, having them lose the balance just a little bit. Don't necessarily put your feet on the floor, okay? Sometimes, if the guys who does a knee cut pass, and they sit out when they sit out. So I turn my body off to the side. And now, this is an ugly triangle. I didn't lock it up properly. Now I have to make the adjustments. If I have to make the adjustments, the top leg lays down on. Now I can go to finish. Okay? So let's make sure that your hips, as they're coming through, try not to put your feet on the ground, almost like you want to do like. So hop your hips, and now you can start to lock it up. Once I lock it up, then I go into the squeeze, thighs together, Suzanne Summers Thigh Master. At some point, I'm gonna have to pay her royalties. Is everybody clear? Any other questions so far on this, guys?
Do you monitor what would be the crossface handle that's going in?
They usually will not cross-face because they don't get that far.
I mean, you just cover the hand so that you can.
No, I just kind of post. So a lot of times what happens, so as Mike's coming through, I want to have my arm, so my arm, I want to have that under. So as he's coming through, right, I want to have the underhooks. So that way, once I decide that, okay, so this is a crappy lockup. I did it on purpose, all right? So, what mistakes am I making right now? In my lockup. Yes, correct. I'm not enough on my side. 2, I'm not locked up fully under my knee. I'm locked up on my calf. So I'm sort of in that in between. But that doesn't stop me from using the simultaneous submission. All right, try not to focus on the simultaneous submissions yet. We will get to it because I want you guys to get a better understanding of how do you get them to, as they're pushing through, just lose enough balance. Because all they do is they get balance, so as they're passing through, this is what you want. First split second, that's it. That's all you need. Because your legs are going to be in position to now lock them up quickly. In the meantime, you can always grab your shin. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? So let's go. Let's give it a try. So a lot of people having trouble with the entries off the podcast. Here's the reality of this whole thing. We're gonna try to simplify it a little bit. All right. But the reality is, for the higher level guys, you need to set people up in transitions. You can't just sort of jam their head between your legs. It works sometimes, but at high level it doesn't. The guys are just not going to do it. But we're going to simplify it so at least you guys can get the mechanics of the choke. Good stretch. So there's one other. You guys anybody else have a question over there?
I got a question.
Yes.
It seems like you broke down its 2 front toes, and I just didn't see the entry into that. If there was a specific step.
Yeah, it's that hip shift.
Yeah.
It's almost like an air hip shift. But we're going to simplify it so at least you guys can start working on the simultaneous submissions. So this time we're going to do Mike pass out. So he did arm up, over under guard pass. So as the guy's over under guard pass. So I'm going to simplify this for you. As you want to do this before it gets to this position. Okay? But we're going to do it from here so you guys can get used to the mechanics. Right? So I'm going to turn on my side. Okay? My foot comes up, and this one over under. As he's coming through, I'm going on his head and bringing it down. Now, why am I grabbing my shin?
So that's the position.
Keep the control. This buys you time. Anytime you grab your shin, guys, I strongly encourage you. I scream at my students. People are doing this. Because I'll show you. This buys you time. I can lock it up, and once I control him, you can make adjustments. It's the same thing with. So once I grab my shin, he's going to have a harder time to posture up. So I'm keeping him down with my top leg pushing down on his head, and I'm holding on to my shin. I'll lock it up. Now, I'm going to deliberately make it bad. This is bad, right? So notice his answer is, it's always going to be try to go north-south. All right? So I want to try to stop him. You can grab the ankle, or you can posture up and block his hips with your head. All right? So we're going to, I want to spend a few more minutes on the entry. So this time you're going to have the guy do over-under. As he's doing it, he's going to bring his head down by, so basically, he's holding onto my leg, so I cannot bring it above his head, right? So as he's coming through, I turn straight. I turn to my side. This now comes on top. And I lock it up. Okay, so from over under, so he's already top of side control. You need to be, this is the movement you're going to do. It's very difficult to stop people once they're sort of almost there. So there's 2 ways you can stop somebody. This is not just specific to this is specific to jiu-jitsu. You could either stop them from doing it, and the other possibility is to make them overshoot. So this one, he wants to get your legs out of the way. All you're doing is you're making him overshoot a little bit. So if you're comfortable with the entries, I know I've seen some of you guys, have been really doing it as well. If you're having trouble with the entry, do it from bottom side control where the person is doing over under and pretty much has passed your guard. Okay? So you're gonna shift out. So we're not shifting out. We're not shifting out like this. What I'm doing is get my hips to the side. Okay? I want to have my knee pointed at the floor. This is where I want to be on that. Okay? I sit up, I grab my shin, and it's that. So as he's coming through, he's going to be shoving your legs off to the side. So as he's shoving the legs off to the side, this is all we're doing. This sets everything up off the guard pass. All right? There is other entries. I want to get to the simultaneous submission, so let's do over under. Let's get to the entries because I want to go over the simultaneous submissions. You understand again the simultaneous submissions if you got short legs. Oh, that was the question. You got short legs. So let's pretend I have short legs. Cross your ankles. This gives me control, may not give me choking control or strangulation control, but it's gonna always, it's keeping Mike where he is. Worst case scenario, when you have an inverted triangle, your worst case scenario should be this. Mike starts to go north-south. Now, I just swap it. I don't have to choke him. I can finish with it tomorrow. All right? So worst case scenario, you should look at triangles, particularly inverted triangles, as a form of control that even if you screw it up, should allow you not just to stop his guard pass, but to get on top. Because their defense is north-south. Go north-south. Go north-south. Is everybody clear, guys? All right, let's give it a shot. Let's go. So, why do I have a big smile on my face? Is it because the hangover is wearing off? Partially. But the real reason is I've seen you guys doing it well. I must explain it better this time around than the last explanation. So what we're going to do is I want to go over to the simultaneous submission, and then we come back to one more set. Okay? I'd like you to show me what you just did. If I could have it.
The wrong way?
No, come here, please. What you did.
The wrong way?
No, the last one I just watched. There is no such thing as a wrong way when the guy taps. That's it. So you push his head down, right? You can do that. When you have to push the head down, you miss that timing by a split second. But if you move your hips, his head is no longer driving. It's suddenly as you remove your hips a little further than you intended, like suddenly his head becomes light. It's no longer this. It's like, crap, I got to rebase. That's all you need is that split second opportunity. Okay? Does everybody understand that? So that was good. So if you have to do that, guys, that means you missed your timing by a split second. But it works. It's okay. That head, again, if you're a split second late, this is split second late, but it still works. If you do, another split second late now, you stabilize control. All right, we're going to go over another this is a defensive aspect of inverted triangles. We're going to go over an offensive version in a little bit. I want to do some of the simultaneous submissions. Okay, so you got it. So again, in this particular case, guys, see, like the advanced guys, I always keep my hand through. Because it's going to make my knee, you know what? Guys, why don't you come over to the side of this? So, drag my shoulder across. So, as he's coming through, I'm gonna put my forearm on his thigh. It does a couple of things. It stops his north-south progression quickly and keeps his arm somewhat out. I don't want this. This is gonna be a lot harder to get out, okay? So now, I'm gonna extend, re-grip, and now I'm gonna go into Kimura finish. All right? So again, as he's coming through, I want that, so I'm getting the underhook as he's coming through. I can make adjustments if I need to. I'm not happy with my triangle right now, so I make a couple of adjustments, make sure I stop him from going north-south. Now, I turn my attention to the arm. And I'm gonna squeeze, I don't really care which eye he taps on first. Okay? So I'm gonna leave it up to you whether you wanna go Kimura, or the other possibility starts to go north-south. I'm gonna go over his hamstring, under. And this is a modified toe, guys. Very easy to counter, but Mike, how do you counter it? He sits out. But when they sit out, they give you that choking, the constriction power is much better. So even though he escaped the secondary toe submission being a toe hold, he puts himself into a deeper constriction. Is everybody clear on this, or do you guys need to see it again? So I'm going to leave it up to you whether you want to go for the foot. So if you're a leg locker, you know, or you're pretty good with leg locks, you can go for the modified toe hold. If you prefer the upper body submission, you can go for a Kimura. Okay, so I'm going to go over that again. Any other questions on this so far? Nope. So again, guys, if you got shorter legs, the people ask me, like, is there an ideal sort of body build for jiu-jitsu? No. It's like usually if you got shorter legs, you're gonna have a hard time triangling people, but guess what? When you actually do locks, block it up, it's probably over for the other guy, right? Also, you're much less vulnerable to submissions. When you have, you know, lanky, you can triangle anybody, but you also, you know, everything's hanging out and you have long limbs. So there isn't, you know, you have body type, whatever you have, so make the most of it. So if you got shorter legs, all you gotta do, especially with simultaneous submission, is cross your ankles and Suzanne Summers thigh master squeeze. So don't just kind of lock it, squeeze. You know, even if I do a regular triangle, I squeeze and knees to your chest. Squeeze and knees to your chest. Okay? This keeps him where he is, which now allows me to either modify my submission or attack the arm. Again, think of triangles not just as a submission, but a very strong form of control. Anytime you have head and arm control, whether it's with your arms or with your legs, it's a very strong form of control. People typically look at triangle, shoot their legs up, crap, missed it, and now you're bottom side control. No. First, make sure that you control their posture. The triangle needs to control the posture. Once you do that, then your legs are gonna do it. So even if you have short legs, just cross your ankles, keep their posture broken, and now look, okay, I have this arm or the other arm, or I have the foot, okay? So let's look at it again. So as Mike is coming through, my hand is already, I didn't lock it up that well, so I'm gonna go into secondary submissions, or simultaneous, whatever you wanna call it. So, see how his arm is somewhat out already, right? So that's the reason why my hand is here. It's blocking his north-south progression, but also his arm is somewhat isolated. It's gonna be a lot easier for me to re-grip into a Kimura, pull it out, and go. If I can, like, you miss it and the guy just buries his arm, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over the hamstring, get a toe hold, and then just, so you have two, I'll leave it up to you, two simultaneous submissions. And don't forget to squeeze at the same time. All right? Is everybody clear on this, guys? Let's go give it a shot. So let's troubleshoot a little bit. Guys, the next one is going to be a little more complicated, a little more advanced, okay? So I'm gonna go over an offensive way, but before we do, again, when you triangle, especially in the early stages of jiu-jitsu career, people have a tendency to do this with their triangles, push away. What do you think is happening? At the end of the day, this is, you want to reduce the area between your legs. That's where the constriction comes in. I want to bring my knees to my chest and squeeze my thighs together. I have a better description than some person. If I've asked you, because if you never see that commercial, I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube. Squeezing a panini sandwich. You know, like, you're basically like pressing your inner thighs together. Their head and arm is the panini sandwich. And this is the machine that pushes them together. It sounded a lot better in my head. So, guys, any questions on this? When you triangle people, just try to remember this. You're not trying to, and this goes to any choice, any choice. You don't, well, I don't guillotine like this. I guillotine like this. Rear naked choke. I don't do this, I do this. Okay? Triangle chokes. I don't do this, I do this. Okay? Knees to your chest, don't push them away. And it's the same concept with inverted triangles or reverse triangles, it doesn't matter. Okay, the idea is the same. Okay? So, I'm gonna show you two offensive uses, but I'm gonna stick with one. Okay? So, this is actually a very successful combination for me at a high level. So, I'm a big fan of Urugetame, upside down. The guys that have been caught in it repeatedly, this is how they defend. Can everybody see where this is going? So again, I'm not trying to stop you. My game is, and if you watch any of the videos I've done, my game is not about stopping you. I will fight, not let them do what, I'm sorry, I turn my back. So, let's see how I lost my train of thought. Oh, so my game is, guys, it's fluid BJJ, pardon pun, because I'm setting them up. I'm trying to do, can I pivot? Because I will continue to pivot because I want to talk to everybody. So I try to set them up. So I try to make them overshoot. At this point, once this happens, so I attack Urugetame, upside down armbar. This is what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to make a finish right here.
Just a little.
So, but guys that are savvy before I get to that point, as I'm attacking, I'm not going to stop them. So what do I need to do to make Mike, I'm going to give you a hint, guys. It's a very slow hit. How do I set up Mike for the inverted triangle? What do I do? He wants to get that leg off him, right? What do I do? I go with it. I actually make him overshoot that split second. That's how you set him up. And it's not just for this, it's for a lot of other things. So this is actually a very successful combination as they do this. You know? I walk up and then I already keep his arm. So I have the simultaneous submissions. The other one that may resonate more with you, so when I go spin for an armbar on the far side, a lot of times my right leg gets caught in the armpit. So as I'm going around, what is Mike going to do right now? Hitchhikers, right? Okay. Okay, welcome to your escape. So the point I make is I will try to armbar, but a high-level guy will hit checkers, or even lower-level guy will hit checkers. But they just time me. So I will leave my foot, my heel, under their armpit, and as they come up, all I do is get on my side and pull their arm in, which puts them into the inverted triangle. Okay? So I'm going to go over the top side control. And again, I leave it up to you guys. Guys, if you having trouble with this concept, and this is not an easy concept, stay with the same one. That's the defensive aspect where somebody's passing the guard or just about passing the guard. If you advance your hand, you've done well with this. So as I'm going over, I'm trying to arm over. I just hold it. Right? And you always have the simultaneous submissions. Is everybody clear on this? So guys, please, if you have trouble, stay with the original move. For the more advanced guys I get it, try the offensive moves. Okay? Is everybody clear? Any questions I can answer? Let's go to it, guys. So guys, this is not an easy technique. This is sort of I think on the schedule it might have said intermediate to advanced, I believe. I hope. So I want everybody to walk out with at least one or two little things. I'm going to try to tell you what they are. Okay? So one or two little things is, one is when you're using a triangle constriction, knees to your chest compression. You want to ball up, okay? Thighs together. Panini, Suzanne Summers, I don't care which way you think about it, whatever makes you, all right? 3, this is a big one. Triangles, even the crappiest of triangles, I call them diamonds, where you cross your ankles, are a good form of control. And therefore, they give you access to simultaneous submissions. So don't like, oh shit, I'm sorry. Did I say that on camera? Okay. Shit, I lost a triangle. No, it's not perfect. You can make it, if you hold your shin, you can make adjustments. But if you feel like we were talking about that, if you have somebody broad, you caught him in a diamond and like, oh man, I don't care how much I adjust, I'm not gonna get this. Then use it as a form of control. Attack that simultaneous submission, whether it's the arm that's inside the triangle or outside. You'll know it. You don't have to. It goes by type of triangle, but you know it's one is there and the other one's not available. Like you can't reach it, so it's that one that you can reach. I did a triangle video for BJJ Fanatics. It's literally 3+ hours straight instruction, straight. Which means that I'm not giving people time in between to drill it. Just to give you an idea how vast, and I go through things fairly quickly. It just gives you an idea how vast this is. If you're guys, go on YouTube, Silver Fox BJJ channel, or I've done stuff with Firas Hobby on TriStar Gym channel. One guy, Adolfo Ferranda from California, actually put an index online. Ask Mike how to get it, or I can send it to you, of all the techniques, so you can go by technique. It'll literally link you to the video where that technique is discussed. And I know I've covered this topic extensively. Again, think of triangles as a form of control, not just a submission. So even if you're failing with the submission, attack that's simultaneous. So it's usually the arm. Sometimes it's the foot or leg, but it's usually the arm without letting go of the triangle. Okay? I pride myself on running a Swiss train, which we are finished. But I'd like to, guys, I'm going to stay here for the open mat. So if you have any questions on this or anything else, just let me know. Do you guys have any questions I can answer before we close this out?
Yeah, I do. Yes, sir. So when you unhook the arm, you block the leg. The guy stack passes, you lift his hip. Which one do you block? Do you keep with the arm or do you block the leg with both of those stuff?
You can do both.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, okay.
So the arm through is helping the ice.
Yeah.
Guys, again, one more thing. I'm going to cracker cows. That's probably the word. My triangle. So I'm doing the diamond, right? I know this is going to fail. So I'm starting to prepare as Mike is coming through, as he's going north-south. This is when he's lightest. And this is where now I go into the follows. But by bringing that arm through, you're doing both. You're isolating his arm as well as preventing him from going north-south quickly. He may prevail, but you always make them struggle. When people struggle when you attack, I'm a big fan of offensive jiu-jitsu because usually even if fails. It's, you know, when they're on the run, when they're trying to get away from those submissions or sweep attempts, they're going to give you something else on the platter. All right? Any other questions, guys? Should we take a quick picture and finish it? Because open mat starts. All right, let's do it. Let's go.